poems, well, the first poem is from my chapbook. It's entitled Morning Fruit. I do not like green grapes, and I will not eat salad from a bag. There are ripe red tulip petals rotting in the drain, mixed with indiscernible leftovers floating side by side. On Saturday mornings, NPR talk, car talk, talking, reverberates on cracking paint in my home's kitchen. Sun is glaring through film-spotted windows onto my mother's graying, now gray hair. Punch, devouring, biting a softball grapefruit, peeled and ripped in zigzag patterns. Juices and rinds and dirty dishwater, accumulated in tiny trenches. Bowls and cups, cups and spoons, knives teeter-totter. Sun gets in her eyes, and she is transfixed by the current broadcast. Some of these poems are a little bit shorter. I did a series in 2022 where a friend and I wrote poems every day, which you can imagine lasted for so long. But some of these I really liked. They're very raw, they're unedited, and I know that's maybe gauche to read at a poetry reading, but some of them I really liked and had some nice lines, so I just wanted to share them. This is April 23rd, Unrequited. Casting wide nets tethers the crest of your heart, and ropes of holes to escape, but beckon you deeper. Treading unknown and uncertain waters, just to hold his hand. Pinkies edging in all realms innocent, hoping for his tenuous words more than an undeniable touch. The many lifetimes, degrees, and variations of not want but care, of not need but love, to feed, not devour. His breaths cannot be heard but felt, where his hand might hold the fingertips of yours, in bounty and place and sink into expansion. The next poem is about recovery and rehab, and it's called Passing Through. 1. Leaves fall and cover patchy grass, thick with cigarette butts tossed carelessly down, as seasons change in a seasonless way. The only contact with the outside world is your foot on cold pavement in 10-minute sessions, your hand in open air that is dense like extinguished fire from cigarette exhales of 20 to 30 people in a small sequestered area. In this place, time exists in a vacuum. There are no clocks and no ways to distinguish one hour from another. Yet most, when asked, know the exact extent of how long they have existed within these walls. 2. Daily life is structured. Everything has a rule. Roll call occurs 7 to 8 times a day, but many never show, and no one seems to care. There is a slight lenience to the rigidity of this place, which makes the regimented schedule bearable. I have problems with authority. I truly believe I am unique. And yet this is the happiest, most content, healthiest, most centered I've felt in years. 3. Faces and beds change daily, while continually people will feed the squirrels outside. They make simulated sucking noises meant to imitate the creature's sounds. Some of the braver ones are lured near. One fatter squirrel is named Chester, taller and more robust, yet somehow squatter. But since all the squirrels seem to be well fed, there is no way to truly tell them apart. Despite the constant influx and departing of people, the name Chester remains a constant. Who knows what he was named in these months of generations past? What is the lifetime of a squirrel? 4. Realization is a funny thing. It comes from other people's mouths in group, where they clearly articulate the thoughts I had not yet found the words to form. The cleansing of my soul comes from the honesty of others. Sometimes I awake sleepy and sad, but then content and with a sense of purpose. I look at the faded, curling motivational posters. I've admitted that I'm powerless, and recently felt as though I have a sense of God in my life again. I do think it will indeed restore me to sanity. I'm just waiting to turn myself over to it. 6th.
Oh, good.
Glassy ice with tree branch cracks lines the pathway and unexpected puddles. Outside, it's a tight cold hanging, like it can only be in the flat of Indiana. I like hills and hillsides, the heat of summertime staleness, walking barefoot on hot pavement, rocks stuck in my calloused feet. I find delicate comfort in grass, still wet midday with morning condensation. But I cannot change the air, only 6 degrees to meet me in my morning. Wind so dry, taking my oxygen away. I walk with sturdy boots, only able to welcome this day with weather whose will I welcome in its elegance, but do not desire. The next one focuses on addiction. It's entitled Not a Dollar. There is something akin to the music of Sonic the Hedgehog and carnival show tunes. The flips of cards accentuated, they do not fall but plop, chips shuffling loudly in nervous hands that click and clank, flashing lights like Ferris wheels and fireflies and great conflagrations incense my heart rate. And I always want more. It's all piles of dopamine or overloads or addiction and blind eyes. I'm so tired of that word, dopamine. It's not duplicity, it's duality, and therein lies the difference. Because I am and I am not the person who does these things. I am the game of Baccarat. It's a game of 50-50 chance, a coin toss away, always. Meanwhile, I am filled with regret, the kind akin to deep and unmitigated grief. But however, you get used to loss. Rock bottom self-hurtled 3 times with deeper descent still capable. I once got up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water and lost $100. I'm not a bad person, I'm a person who has done bad things. And truly every time is the last time. Every time, win or lose, I want it to be. I bought $168 in scratch-offs the other day and somehow won $168 back. Conviction can be so strong, bearing down through you, and suddenly, like ice, the feeling filling your veins, you drop, the light turns green. It is easier to have none than just some, and it is easier to just have none. This next one is a piece of like flash prose kind of that I wrote. It's called Vanishing Points. I could hear the wind rustling on the other end of the phone, intermittently like a rushing but gently rolling breeze on a cloudy day in Columbus, Ohio. It sounded like interference on one of those Midwest spring days where the air is cold but the wind is warm. His voice was gentle but there. He was walking away probably from some large industrial complex where he worked, with spreadsheets doing something I didn't understand. Just general accounting, he called it. He kept saying, "I'm sorry," and "I'm so sorry," and I cried ugly tears from the other end of the line 700 miles away. I could hear his breath heavy and me not saying a single lie. He listened calm and cool. I even laughed through my dribbling tears at one point, because his voice was familiar and warm, and while it stuttered at the same time, I was learning from him, in patience and in wait, to listen and to hear what others had to say. But I wasn't listening to myself in a fraught state, and I don't remember what I said, all of it. It was just brutal honesty, and a sadness and heaviness, and I felt so close. I could feel the drafting of cold spring breathing through the broken window casings of my old gritty apartment. This is a poem for my sister that I always like to read. It's entitled Ostra, which is a Latvian name and also a family name of mine. Before, initially, first, in the hospital. She lay there sleepy, still, and tranquil. I'm enthralled by each breath she takes, the steady sequence. Hours pass and all it is breathing. Slow, steady, sometimes deep. My hand is tight, grasping hers limp. My palms wet with anticipation, as if approaching a runway. But I've never breathed a breath of air before, never felt a thing, never understood existence. This is what it means to love. This is what it is to be consumed. All the words for passion in a single syllable. This is what it means to love someone with all you have to give. Okay, just a few more, they're short. February 11th. Late night, sad after the party. I sat alone, only slightly tipsy, still wearing my short heels tight to the toe. The space heater whirring white noise, just like fans in the summer. My crowded feet falling low, up to the grates of caged red, pointing my arches downward, basking in the hot tub like steam. Thinking about a conversation with an old college friend, where I had a pang of a feeling it would be our last. And this is Christmas Lights. This is also from my chapbook. If you were here, I would want you to gently unwrap your hands to my face and kiss me soft and hard with this magical dialectical way you have. Maybe then I would undress you slowly to music dancing together. Bob Dylan in the background touching you and rolling my fingers across your bare smooth chest. The lighting would be dark and red with the late afternoon sun coming slightly through my dark ruby window curtains, but clear enough we could see each other's eyes. And last one. Last one is short. September 20th. Little white lies, tiny things, trespass my lips out into windless nights with a bit of what's coming. Cold soon, too soon. A little too much wine with dinner, I say. I smoke Pall Malls normally, I say. It wasn't meant to be, I say. Supernal dreams replace nightmares. My bittersweet speculation. Why not wager with me? Thank you.